All right, so welcome, guys. I'm so excited that you've decided to join me tonight. If you don't know me, I am Katie Grant. I'm the founder of glamgirlglow.com, and I am an online visibility coach for wellness entrepreneurs. I discovered after graduating from nutrition school, Institute for Integrative Nutrition, as a health coach, that I was already working with a lot of my classmates on getting themselves out there and getting past the analysis paralysis and really getting themselves visible via their social media and their websites. And I realized that I kind of needed to make that my business. I was a lot more passionate about that. And it felt like the universe was leading me there. So fast forward to now, and that is exactly what I'm doing. And so I truly, truly believe that anyone can build their own website. And I also truly believe that if you don't use WordPress for your business, you're cheating yourself out of a lot of money, and you're not really taking your business seriously. There's a reason that all of the major businesses still use WordPress. In fact, I found out today and confirmed it that ESPN and Forbes both use WordPress for the back end of their websites. Those are some pretty big names to be using WordPress. So it totally grows with your business. And that's why I feel that everyone should be using it for their business. You can be someone small making $50 a month and have it be worth it. And it can grow with you all the way up to having multi-six-figure months. And you can make those changes without losing anything along the way. So that's kind of who I am. That's why I'm here. So I just want to talk to you a little bit about why WordPress, why I think that you can do it, and why it's the best option for your website. And then, like I mentioned earlier, we'll kind of look at WordPress. I know that a lot of people think it's really scary, probably because they've never seen it and have just heard horror stories. So we'll take a really quick look at WordPress, and then I have a little surprise for you guys, and then we will do some Q&A if anyone has questions. So I guess I should go this way, 5 reasons that I think you should choose WordPress for your new website, why you should stop fearing it and embrace it. Number 1 is that it gives you complete control over everything. So the nice thing about WordPress is that it's completely up to you. Every single aspect of it is you. So you can choose your branding. If you want your colors to be every color of the rainbow, you can do that. If you want it just to be black and white, you can do that. You're not constrained to what your school is offering or what Squarespace or Wix or Weebly is offering. You can do whatever you want with your branding, and it will match your business. Visually, there's an unlimited number of different visual layouts that you can give your website to really make it yours and make it fit what it is that you want it to do. And cost. I hear a lot of people saying that WordPress isn't a good idea because it's really expensive. In fact, I've heard people say that you should use WordPress.com instead of WordPress.org because it's so expensive. WordPress.org is the same cost as WordPress.com, free. It does not cost anything to have WordPress. And that's because it's open source software. So someone basically created it and said, I don't want to make money off of this. So here, anyone can use it, and anyone can use it in any way that they want. The thing with WordPress.org is you do need to buy your domain and you do need to buy hosting. That's where the cost comes in, but that's completely up to you. If you want to pay $3 a month for your domain and hosting, you can. It's probably not going to be the best quality hosting, but you can do it that way if you want to save the money and if you want to do it that way. You can also pay like $10,000 a month for it if that's what you choose you want to do. So it's really nice because you do control all of those aspects. And if there's something about it that you don't like, you can change it. You're not stuck in that one little spot for the next year or 2 years or however long it is. And if you decide you want to change something, you're not starting over from scratch like you would be with Wix or Weebly or your IAN website or anything like that. Number 2 is that it is optimized for SEO. SEO is search engine optimization. And while a lot of other websites say that they are SEO optimized, they are optimized for that business, not for you. So just in the case of an IAN website, it is SEO optimized. They're not lying to you there, but it's optimized to lead people to you only when searching for Institute for Integrative Nutrition. All of the SEO for that is optimized specifically for their business, not for yours. With some of the other options like Squarespace and Wix, it has some things set up for SEO. But to do the things that you can very, very easily do without knowing any coding in WordPress, to do it in those other platforms, you need to know the coding and you need to know where to put it in. So with regards to that, it isn't very user-friendly unless you are super tech savvy. So that's number 2, SEO. WordPress makes it super easy to do SEO on your website. And I know that we all want to be found by Google. That's like the easiest thing that you can do to get clients, is to be findable on Google. So number 3 is that everything is yours and you're not reliant on another company. So for example, IAN, again, just because it's the easy example to make, they were providing websites for you, and they were providing a very specific website for you. And they decided that they couldn't host it anymore. So they worked with another contractor and now have the new live edit websites, which is great. However, if you've tried to change over to that, you know that you need to start over from scratch with that new website. So because IAN made the decision that they no longer wanted to be in business, they're still in business, but for all intents and purposes, for a website, they're no longer in business. Because they made that decision, you now have to start over. Same thing with Squarespace. Squarespace is a business. If they decide tomorrow that they can't be in business any longer, all of your stuff is gone and you are stuck starting over from scratch. WordPress, because it is that open source software, will be there forever. If, for example, your host goes out of business tomorrow, you might be a little bit screwed there. But if you've made backups, which you should all be doing, if you've made backups, you can move to any other host and get it all right back up with like 15 clicks. Like, it's not difficult to do. So you're not starting over from scratch and you're not totally screwed if the company that you're working with goes out of business. I think that's really important and something that a lot of people don't consider. And the other thing with it is that because it is your property and you own it, the content that you create is yours. I haven't looked at the terms and conditions of anything like Wix or Weebly or Squarespace, but for sure with Institute for Integrative Nutrition, when you use their websites, the old ones or live edit, any content that you create, so any blog posts, any modifications you make to the about page or work with me or anything like that, any and all content that you create, they own the rights to. And they are welcome to use your blog posts however they see fit. So it really isn't your content anymore. It's totally theirs, and they can go and post it anywhere else on the internet that they want, and there's nothing that you can do about it. When you post it on WordPress and you have clear terms and conditions and your copyright on there, it's yours. And if anyone does use it, there's legal action that you can take. So you're not just giving your work out to anyone else without your permission. Number 4 is that it'll grow with you, so you never have to start over. So I kind of touched on this already, but you're starting out today, and let's say you have one client and you're making $500 a month. Just throwing random numbers out here. The website that you have today might not be the same in that you would want to have a year from now when you have 15 clients and are bringing in, let's just say, for simple math, $5,000 a month. If you want to change what your website looks like visually, or you want to change the copy on your website or anything like that, you can at any time. And you don't have to start over from scratch. If you build a website with Live Edit right now, and you decide 6 months from now that you don't like how it looks, but the way you want it to look can't be built in Live Edit, you're screwed. You have to move to something else. And when you move to that something else, you have to start over from scratch. Your content doesn't come with you. None of your plugins, none of that comes with you. You have to start over from scratch. With WordPress, once it's in WordPress, as long as you stay in WordPress, you never have to start over. Everything will move it with it. Everything will transfer over. And you can make those changes super, super easily. If you look at my website now, it looks completely different. Well, it looks slightly different than it did 2 weeks ago. It looks completely different than it did 6 months ago. And it looks totally different than it did a year ago. I've changed the way that it looks multiple times as my business and myself have grown and evolved, as my vision and my mission for my business have changed. And I didn't have to start over. I made a few clicks. I changed a few words here and there. But otherwise, for all intents and purposes, everything that I did stayed exactly the same. It just looked a little bit different. So that is one of the big reasons that WordPress is great, because if you are starting off now, 5 years from now, the things that you've created today aren't going to disappear when you decide you need to change the way it looks. And lastly, this is maybe the most debated reason that you should stop fearing WordPress, but I think it's the most true, and I think it's the most important. WordPress, hands down, is the best if you are not tech savvy. Let me say it again. WordPress is the best if you absolutely are not tech savvy. It seems really scary, and a lot of people will tell you that's not the case. But here's why it is. On Squarespace and Wix and Live Edit and all of the others, you need to know coding. There's going to be things that you need to do that require you to speak some sort of a coding language. There's a ton of them out there. HTML is probably the most universally recognized, but there are a lot of them. And if you don't speak those coding languages, there's a lot that you can't do. You won't be able to use a Facebook tracking, retargeting pixel to come up with a custom audience for your Facebook ads based on the people who visit your website. You can on those other guys, but you need to know the coding to be able to figure out where to install it. What WordPress does is it has plugins. Think of a plugin as an app for your phone. So you install this app on your phone, and it provides some sort of a functionality for your phone that it couldn't do before. A plugin is the same thing. So in the case of the Facebook retargeting pixel, I can download a plugin for that, and it gives me a place to really easily paste in the code that is pre-written for me. I don't need to know the code. All I'm doing is copying and pasting from Facebook to my website. That's really simple. But if I were to do it on Squarespace, I would need to go into the CSS, which is the style sheet full of the coding, and I would need to find the exact place and paste it in. That's really cool that you don't need to do that. So the way that works is that there are tons of WordPress developers out there, and their job is just to sit and create these things so that you and I, who don't know code, can build our own websites and run it and add functionality without knowing anything. I've had my website for coming up on 2 years now. I built it from WordPress to begin with. I looked at the IAN websites just to see what they looked like, but I built it from scratch right away. And I know maybe 6 short codes in HTML. I know how to Google for more if I need them. And the 6 that I know are just from having an open diary account way back in high school. Actually, more like middle school. So they're not things that I've needed to learn for WordPress at all. And I personally think that I have a pretty good looking website, but it's just totally not necessary to run a website unless you're using one of those other guys. So really quick summary, the 5 reasons that I think you should stop being afraid of WordPress and get on it to get your business visible are that you do have the full control. You make all of the decisions, which might be kind of scary, but it also means that everything is fully customizable to you and your business. The SEO is going to be optimized for Google to find you and your business rather than your nutrition school or another website platform or anything like that. You own your content and no one can ever take that away from you. And that also means that you're not reliant on another company staying in business. It'll grow with you forever and ever, or as long as you stay in business. So you don't need to keep starting over anytime someone decides that they don't want you there anymore or that they're going out of business or anything like that. And lastly, it is the best if you are not tech savvy. So that's a really quick rundown of the details. On the webinar, give me just 1 second. I'm going to stop my Periscope recording. Thank you guys. I'm so glad you could join me. And yeah, check out glamgirlglow.com for more goodies. All right, so I had that on Periscope just because I wanted to see how it would go. I am now, Christy, I'm going to come back to that question in just a minute. I'm going to show you guys a really quick sneak peek of what WordPress actually looks like, because I think it's really important for the people who are kind of afraid of the technology to see how straightforward it really is. But Christy, I am not ignoring you. I will come back to your question when we get to Q&A. So just a minute. So let me turn on my screen share here and give you guys a really quick glance. And I'm going to minimize that. So this is my WordPress dashboard. When I log in, this is the first thing that I see. So it's all really simple. Everything here is totally customizable and will look different for everyone. One of the objections that I regularly hear to WordPress is that it's really difficult to maintain because you need to watch for updates and things like that. This bright yellow sign right here is telling me that I need to do an update on something. All I need to do is click it and click update, and it's going to take care of that for me. And it takes about 20 seconds to do. So the people who say that it's too difficult to keep up with, I don't know what they're talking about, because it's quite simple and it tells you when something needs to happen. In terms of adding a blog post, I'll show you what that looks like. So here are all of the blog posts that I've ever written. I can see them all right here. I can edit any of them. I'm just going to show you what it looks like to add a new one. So all you do is click Add New. And if my computer wants to cooperate here. So I can enter my title up here. We'll just call it Test. And here's where I write my post. I can bold things, I can make it italic, underline, do lists, do numbered lists. Right here, I can change the text color, all sorts of different things that you can do. And then when you're ready, all you do is click publish and it's there. Super incredibly simple. Anyone who tells you that you're not going to be able to publish a blog post in WordPress either is crazy or they are working on a custom designed WordPress site where the developer or the designer coded in not being able to do that yourself so that they could continue to get money by needing to publish these for you. It is possible to code around that, and some developers are a little bit sneaky and will do just that. Creating a new page for your website is exactly the same thing. The layout looks exactly the same. Let's see. That's kind of the most basic there. So yeah, I will stop sharing and let's see if anyone has, well, actually, no, one more thing. I do have to share one more thing first, and then we will jump into Q&A. Let's get rid of that. All right, so the main reason you guys are here, and you didn't know about it, I promise that this won't be salesy, but I'm hosting this tonight because today the doors opened on my new program called Build Your Website. It's 10 weeks to building your own WordPress website. I think it's pretty fabulous. Katie, I'm not sure if Katie Lindbergh's still on the call, but she is one of the past participants in this. And her, along with a few other ladies, went from feeling totally not tech savvy at the beginning of the 10 weeks to having built amazing looking, professional looking websites in that time. It gets you both private and group coaching and weekly workbooks to help walk you through every single step of the process and make it super easy. And since you guys are amazing and are on this call, I typically don't discount my stuff. You'll see if you go to this website that there are a ton of early bird bonuses included. Let me get down to it so you guys can see. All of these bonuses are going to be included for anyone who signed up before Saturday. They come out to over $800 in extra value. And the reason that I did it this way was because I wanted to not only help you guys build your website, but I wanted to help contribute to growing your business in other ways as well. And the best way that I could do that was by working with other professionals, other entrepreneurs in the areas that they were experts in to get you guys that top-notch information. So there's stuff about branding, about writing copy, about being efficient and managing your time, outsourcing. I think that's about it. All on here for anyone who signs up. In addition to that, if you sign up tonight before midnight Central Time, so you have about 5.5 hours left, you will get another $75 off the total cost. So the total cost is $887, or you can do 3 payments of $307 each, and you'll get a discount, $75. It's the only discount that I'm offering. After tonight, there will not be another discount. So keep that in mind. I can answer some more questions about that if you guys are at all interested. You can go to buildyourwebsite.glamgirlglow.com. And you guys are the only ones getting access to this discount. So good on you for being here. I'm going to stop sharing now and let's do questions. I will start by answering Christie's, which she wrote in the chat section asking, how do you decide which template to use for the visual look of your website? Really great question, Christy. it's tough sometimes. There are probably 8 trillion different templates that you could use. That's one of the double-edged swords about WordPress, is that there are so many people making things out there for it, that it can be difficult to decide. If you're hanging out with me and Build Your Website, we talk a lot about it, and I give some suggested templates that are great to use. Otherwise, kind of searching online and just seeing what you like. You can browse on WordPress and see all of the different options on there. And just play around and see what you like. I am planning a blog post for the near future that'll list some of my favorite ones to use. But it's going to be up to your personal preference and what it is that you want your website to do, what you want it to look like, and what your branding is going to be, because some of them will limit the colors that you can use. So that'll kind of take up some options there. Does that answer your question, Christy? You can go ahead and unmute yourself if you would like.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. I'm going to post another question, but we'll be good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. Does anyone else have questions? You can either unmute yourself or click on chat down there and type in the chat box. Anyone else? Christy, if you want to come back on and ask your question, you are more than welcome to. Oh, that is a good one. So Christy in the chat also just asked, if you use WordPress, do you need to obtain an additional website for blogging? No. Up until last week when I made a couple changes to my website, if you just went to glamgirlglow.com, the blog was my homepage. You build it all completely within your same website, no matter how you do it. What else was I going to say there? It's already built in for you, so you don't have to do anything different. The only thing is you can decide whether you want your blog to be your homepage or if you want a separate page for the blog, but it automatically builds the URL for you. It would just be your domain name /blog. So if you now go to glamgirlglow.com /blog, that's where you would find my blog. Cool? Awesome. So Beth, okay, so you're under a different name. Does WordPress allow for PayPal integration or any other payments? Yes, absolutely. So there's a few different ways that you can do it. Within PayPal, you can actually, you can design a buy now button straight in PayPal if you have a business account. That will give you the code that you need to just paste it into a page or a post or wherever you would like. So yes, PayPal can do it. There are a few plugins that'll do it too, but I've never played with them. You could additionally use Stripe. Stripe is similar to PayPal, but it was made specifically for website developers. I've never used it, so I don't know how user-friendly it is, but I know that you can design it in Stripe and you can put it in there. But absolutely, PayPal integration is something you can absolutely do. Other questions? You are welcome, Beth. All right, if there aren't any other questions, Katie, are you still on the line or have you gone to dinner yet? I know she was maybe going to jump off. Because if she is on, I would like her to kind of chat really quickly. What other questions do you guys have? I know I promised to keep this really short. We're still under time though, so I am willing to keep answering any questions you guys might have. Oh, Christy, that's a good question. Do you need to do a separate mobile app? No. So let me actually, I wonder if this will let me, I'm going to try something here, guys, so I can show you um, something really cool that you can do. I don't know if it'll work though, so let's see. Phone, iPad. Oh, I don't have the plugin installed. Okay, so I'm going to hold my phone up here so you guys can see. Do you see this little button right here? That is actually my website. So I can click on that and it will bring up my site. So it's loading right now. So you can absolutely do your own mobile app, but what you can do is load something called a favicon onto your WordPress site. It's really fun to play with. It's basically, you know, when you go to a website and in the tab at the top, there the logo is in the tab itself on your browser. That's a favicon. You can set it for mobile devices too. So if you go to a website and click save to home screen, it'll create like its own little app looking thing for the website. The cool thing about WordPress is that most of the themes now are mobile friendly or mobile responsive. So it will automatically change how it looks depending on what sort of a device you're viewing it on. So if you're viewing it on like a big 21-inch computer monitor, it'll adjust to be that bigger size. If you're looking at it on a phone, it'll adjust to be that size. It looks a little bit different, but it'll move so that you don't have to scroll side to side, or so that on that big screen, it's not teeny tiny. But adding that little button to your phone looks really badass, and it's super easy to do. I don't think that you can do it in any of the other website builders unless you know a ton of code. But when I set it up on mine, it took me like 4 minutes to do. The longest part was just uploading my logo. So good question, Christy. Hey, Katie, I just unmuted you. Are you still there?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can now. So this is
Okay.
Katie Limberg. She was in my last round of Build Your Website. And since there aren't any other questions right this second, I would like her to just kind of tell you guys a little bit about Build Your Website and how awesome it was, and kind of what her experience was. So Katie, I will let you take it away quick.
Thanks, Katie. Hi, everybody. I'm Katie Berg, and I went to IIN, and that's how I met Katie. And I kind of was in the same boat. I don't know if some of you went to IIN, but where I had that IIN site, and it just wasn't working for me. So I seeked out Katie, and she said, oh, WordPress is the best thing. So I did that, and then I did her Build Your Website, and now I have a very high-functioning website. I have links to PayPal, to my Acuity scheduler, and I know how to use the SEO and all that. So she really helped me that way, and it wasn't just about building a website. It was about like actually using it and to help your clients. So she was awesome. I highly recommend the program to anybody that's trying to build a website or has one and it's not, working well for them or getting the clients they need. So.
Thank you, Katie. While you're still on here, does anyone have any questions for Katie? Just because she was another participant, so she might be able to give some insight to any questions you guys might have lingering. Anyone? I'll give you guys a second to type. I'm going to bring up her website just so you guys can see how fabulous it is, because it really is very pretty. So this is her site. Just kind of, I mean, it's not super fancy, but that's a good thing because the white space on here makes it much easier to see and simpler to follow and see what's going on. So that's kind of her site. I'll stop sharing, but if you guys want to know more, you can go to katielimberg.com. I'm sure that she would be happy to chat with any of you guys with any other questions you guys might have. So thank you, Katie.
You're welcome. Can I add one more thing?
Go for it.
How Katie was saying how it's easy to transition. I had first started out with, Katie, what was it? .org or .com?
You had .com. Yep, you're on .org now.
Okay. So I wanted to switch over because I wanted to buy a domain name, and it was super easy. It was like one plugin, and my website transferred over. So it's really simple.
Yep, definitely. Awesome. Thank you. All right. So, any other questions, you guys, at all? If you're on the phone, feel free to unmute yourself. I don't know how you would do that, though. If you guys are on Facebook at all and you have a question and you're on phone, I guess feel free to message me that way. I guess I didn't look into how to unmute yourself if you were on the phone. Kim, Christy, Beth, Sophie, Alexandra, Susan, anyone else online have any questions? No? Oh, Alexandra asks, is it best to purchase a domain name first, then set up the WordPress site? Yes. You can build the site and then change it over later. That's what Katie mentioned, in that she built her site on WordPress.com to start off with because she didn't know what she wanted her domain name to be. And then once she figured it out, she changed it over. The thing is that to use WordPress.org, you do need to purchase a domain name. So you would start off with a domain name. If you want to change it later, you can. And redirecting to a new domain name is not difficult at all. But you do need to use WordPress.org, which will have the most functionality. You will need a domain name. And yes, you would just buy it from GoDaddy, or I prefer Bluehost. Bluehost is who I use for pretty much everything. There's not a real big difference between Bluehost and GoDaddy. I do find that Bluehost is typically $1 or $2 cheaper, depending on, they both offer a lot of different specials all the time, so depending on the specific specials they're offering. But I like their customer service and their support, and I've heard some horror stories about GoDaddy. I've also heard some really good stories about GoDaddy. So either one works, but you just buy the domain name and your hosting and then set it up on WordPress.org. It's super easy to use. If you do the Build Your Website program, I walk you through every step of it. But it's honestly quite easy, and you can figure it out on your own very simply. Good question. Anyone else? You are absolutely welcome, Alexandra. No other questions? Going once, going twice? Cool. Well, I promised to keep it under 45 minutes. It looks like I've done that. Again, if you are at all interested in Build Your Website, if you have other questions for me, I would love to chat with you about them. If you found me on Facebook, you can contact me that way. You can email me, coachglamgirlglow@gmail.com. You can, I don't know, what other ways could you get a hold of me? You can go to my website and fill out my contact form there. Glamgirlglow.com is my website. And if you have any questions for another participant, Katie Limberg, who was just on, she would love to answer your questions. Her website is katielimberg.com. There's a form on there. Additionally, a couple other people who have participated and are welcome to answer questions would be Amanda Heisman, HEISMAN health.com. She's certainly open to questions. And Carly Fournier. Her website is fournierhealthandwellness.com. Fournier is spelled Fournier. Any of those three would be more than happy to chat with you. You can check out their websites as well to kind of see what other graduates of the program have created. Just a reminder that that discount is valid through midnight tonight. It's $75 off. Head to buildyourwebsite.glamgirlglow.com to take a look at some more of the information and to sign up if you're interested. Just a real quick run through of what it is. Again, it's 10 weeks. We'll take you from start to finish. Your website will actually be totally built by the 4th week. The reason it takes 10 weeks is because we do talk about making your opt-in freebie and linking your website to MailChimp and writing really strong copy so that your website is kind of like the best employee that you have. That's how I look at websites. A website should be your number one employee. They should be working for you and selling for you, no matter if you're sleeping or on the beach in Mexico or hanging out in your office working. It should be accessible, it should be visible, it should be findable in Google, and it should be really well written so that you can sell things without people needing to directly come into contact with you. So we talk about all of that, and really you'll find that building a website is about so much more than just building a website. It takes you back to being a beginner. When you're building it yourself, this is totally new land for you. You've never really conquered this territory before, unless, of course, you've built a website. And it kind of puts you in your client's shoes. I mean, you guys are, I think, all wellness professionals in some form, and a lot of you guys are working on transformations. And your clients might be really uncomfortable with stepping into new territory and trying things that they've never done before. And doing this yourself really puts you in their shoes and kind of reminds you what that's like. So to help you connect with your clients better. And you'll find that building a website is about overcoming a lot of fears. And you might find a lot of blocks that you didn't know you had before. So that's kind of that. I welcome you guys. If anyone has a question that they wanted to ask but were kind of shy about, feel free again to either email me, coachglamgirlglow@gmail.com, or you can stick around now and ask. But that's kind of the end. And thank you guys so much for jumping on here tonight. I hope it was useful. I hope you truly consider using WordPress, whether it be through my program or on your own. If you have any questions about websites in general, I would be happy to chat with you, no sales pitch included, just to talk about kind of what your different options are, where you're at or where you're struggling. So, and let me skim through here. Oh, Christy, it looks like you had one last question. What template did I use? My main website, glamgirlglow.com, is, what is the name of it? I honestly don't know the name of it. It's one I purchased on Etsy. So you can buy premium themes that are already done for you. So my main website is that. The buildyourwebsite.glamgirlglow.com website is actually built on one called Make. M-A-K-E, just like it sounds. It's super, super customizable. Not my favorite, but for a sales page, it is fabulous because you can get super specific with a lot of different things. So good question, Christy. Anyone else have questions before I go? Thanks, Susan. I'm glad that that helps. And I'm glad that you're choosing WordPress. It's definitely a good investment for your business. And it doesn't even have to be a big investment. It can be a very, very little investment and still help your business along. So good. And if you need help or you want to come play with us and build your website, I would love to have you either way. Anyone else? Well, thank you guys for coming. One last plug, buildyourwebsite.glamgirlglow.com. Check it out. If you know anyone who's in need of a website, send them to it. If you're thinking about it and don't want to do it alone, talk to a friend. Group programs are always more fun when there's someone in it that you know. So, yeah, I'll be hosting a couple more Q&A sessions in the near future. And check me out on Facebook if you haven't found me yet, Glam Girl Glow. Also, Online Wellness Boss Babes is my Facebook group. I would love to have you join that. And I look forward to chatting with all of you guys again real soon. Thanks.